Welcome to you all. My name is Gianluca Corzani, and I'm a member of Europa, a consulting firm from Bologna, Italy, that is organizing this Erasmus Days webinar dissemination event in collaboration with the University of Valencia. I'm here basically, with a lot of hats. In this morning, I'll introduce this morning of works together by saying that I'm currently working in the CLI-MIC project, a project that will be shortly presented by Álvaro Pons from the University of Valencia uh, from um, in the next few minutes. But first, let me present the idea of this gathering together this morning here. We are here for the Erasmus Days, a week of events designed by the European Commission to showcase the impactful projects that the Commission funds under the ErasmusPlus program, the education and training program of the EU. And the idea here, is to try to disseminate and maximize the impact and the outreach of the projects we're going to showcase this morning that are connected with the fil rouge to the ecological transition and to the climate change, let's say, fight through educational ways and innovative cooperation projects such as ours. We are going to present 4 projects, and we will be here to try to connect a little bit the dots and to make this fil rouge more coherent and consistent, and try to find a way also to give to these projects sustainability in order to see them under this umbrella of the transition, and try to boost our creativity all together in order to continue sustaining European education in the fight against climate change. Climate change, which is, as we all know, probably the most pressing global challenge we're facing right now. We are here, and as citizens in the last few years, we've seen that the climate crisis is becoming more and more visible, let's say, also not only from science and statistics, but also from our eyes. Here we're sharing history of, let's say, also tragedies in the last few years, in the sense that we are here in Bologna and Emilia-Romagna region in the last 2 years has faced 3 giant floods that consisted in a lot of drama and tragedies for the population and for the economy. And that's why we are here trying to say that we're doing something impactful when we try to address the climate change issue through education and innovation in education. Our job here today is to present a webinar titled From Panel to Pedagogy, in the sense that we're trying to keep it all together and all the topics touched by our projects inside the same panel with an integrated approach in order to try to be holistic and intersectional by putting together all different challenges inside the same panel to bring to pedagogy, to bring to the didactics, and to bring to the education sector in Europe through school innovative tools that can be action-oriented and can be useful for teachers and educators to let students embrace all complexity of such a challenge to combat climate change from different perspective. And as I was mentioning, we are here because we are in different consortia trying to boost the value of cooperation and to create powerful synergies that maybe individual institution on a national scale, since the problem is global, cannot reach alone. We were talking about embracing complexity and the fact that climate change education is not only about data and science stuff to be left inside classrooms and research institutions, but is action oriented, and it's useful to make informed decision and to educate responsible citizens in taking the right actions and in taking action to tackle the climate issue. While we're talking about innovation in education, we're talking about the fact that, as somebody might say, narratives eat data for breakfast, in the sense that being action-oriented means that we need to go beyond facts and figures by inspiring and engaging and empowering people to take action. And we are here basically to present different projects, as I was mentioning, with different perspective and different topics, from food to science to activism, because we really believe that the fact that interdisciplinarity is a resource in our case. Basically, our goal is to foster a generation, our generation, and the generation that will come after us, that understand the connection and the interdisciplinarity of all these topics to create innovative solutions, to be part of the solution, and embracing the challenges in a collective way to boost also our civic imagination, our professional imagination, to make something profoundly political, to use public funds in an ethical way in order to try to be a little part of the solution and making climate action meaningful and achievable for all. I'll stop here because I can be so long, and I've been so long in presenting a little bit the trajectories of this morning presentation. I'm really glad to be here to leave the floor to these 4 projects that we're going to present, and we will be starting by CLI-MIC, the hosting project, let's say, with Álvaro Pons from University of Valencia, that will tell us of comics and their engaging power to make climate change understandable and to raise awareness in the school sector in order to transform data into narratives that can be powerful and inspire action. After that, we're going to Flood Stopping, another ErasmusPlus project that combine gamification, citizen science, flood awareness with the storytelling techniques and tools that Giulia Lombardo Piola, the project manager of the project, will tell us soon. After that, we're going to Food Odyssey, and I'm really glad to present Food Odyssey for 2 reasons. Today is World Food Day, and so there's a profound sense in order to present Food Odyssey in this webinar, also for that, but also because in 2 or 3 hours, somebody here will take a train to get to Torino, where tomorrow we will have the let's say, the apical moment of co-creation design session of an escape room, all together with food professionals, teachers, and citizens and consumers and farmers, in order to create another innovative teaching tool that might be disruptive, let's say, in the educational sector. So here we will have Kerstin Sirk from ISO that will tell us a little bit of the objectives and the activities we are going through these days. And then, last but not least, Dulci sia in fundo, Eva Merloni from Europa. She will tell us about the Climart series, a series of 3 projects, from theater to comics to animation, in which, we have found, let's say, a powerful methodology in order to raise awareness and inspire action inside classrooms. So I'm really happy to be here, guys, and I'm really happy to leave the floor to Álvaro Pons from Valencia. to start by telling us how CLI-MIC and what CLI-MIC is all about. Alvaro, good morning.
Thank you very much, Gianluca. Well, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Well, I want to talk about a climate project. This is an ErasmusPlus project for teaching global warming through comics. And the first idea we have is why to use comics to talk about global warming. Well, in fact, comics is an expression of popular culture. It's a witness, but all the things that is passing in the society. Usually comics has been the main way to know the reality of the things of history don't tell us in the books. The other side of the history is in comics. An example, this classical comic strip from Richard Fenton called The Yellow Kid is one of the most famous characters from the American comics. And it's a way to know what is the real life in the downtowns of the cities like New York, the real life of the people that don't arrive to be in the books of history. Comics is a cultural expression of popular culture, so it's a way to connect people to the reality. And it's very curious because when we talk about global warming, in 1958, there was a scientific dissemination series. This is a series, this moment of this curiosity of people from the science during the 50s that give magazines like Popular Mechanics or Popular Science. And Our New Age was a very popular comic strip about science. In 1958, only 1 year after the publication of the first research papers about the global warming and the problem of the greenhouse effect due to the foil burning, the carbon fossil system burning, they published this curious page. In this page, Aterstan, Spinhauer, and across the artists make an advice that we have a problem with the absorption of CO2, of carbon dioxide, by the oceans, that we are in this moment in a greenhouse effect, a total greenhouse effect, and this will rise to a warming of the surface of the planet enough to melt the polar ice. This is the first advice of this problem, the first warning about the problem of the global warming that has been published in comics. It's a very curious question. Before any other warning, we have this in comics. And if we study the engagement of comics with climate change, we can see that there are a lot of comics talking about ecological dystopias that give rise to ecological concern and warnings in comics. And these changes has been in parallel to the knowledge of the problem that we have in the society. We can see how after the first Climate World Conference begin to appear in comics this ecological concern. After the IPCC creation, begin to find warnings in comics, and begin also a conscience and awareness and educative actions through comics, even non-fiction comics, to talk about climate change. We can see a lot of difference between fiction comics and non-fiction comics. We can see how from fiction comics, science fiction and fantasy use the comics as a way to talk about climate change, about ecological sensibility, but also these non-fiction comics that in the last 20 years has appeared in different publishing houses are very interesting because they use the comic as an educational way to talk about climate change and global warming and the problems that it motivates. There are a lot of examples of fiction comics that use the climate change as a way to warning about the problem. An example, one of the first was Sos Meteoros. In the first page of Sos Meteoros by Edgar P. Jacobs, is a famous series of Blake and Mortimer series. We have a page with newspaper headlines about the warming, about floods, about the question of climate. And the climate change can be, in this case, a weapon of mass destruction from a terrible villain that is called Ulrich. But it's a way to think about the danger of changing the climate of our planet. La cité des hommes vivants, questo è un ombre.
Marco,
Even
io
in
devo attaccare
commercial,
un'altra cosa, scusami che non riesco ad attaccare.
in other
Eccomi.
commercial comics like Swamp Thing, Concrete, they begin to appear this ecological awareness, this ecological conscience, and very very soon begin to appear didactical comics that use the comic to try to engage the students with this idea of the ecological awareness of pollution, of contamination. That is one of the first questions that we find in comics. After the appearing of the Sustainable Development Goals, UNICEF is going to publish comics about climate change, about ecological awareness. There are a lot of examples, and there are a lot of initiatives of using comics in the classroom. An example, this publication, Climatique, is a French publication that uses comics specifically made for using in the classroom from the Federal Science, the science party that made in the country. And the comic has also a didactical guide to be used in the classroom, and it's a very interesting initiative. We have also a sizing comics about climate change that can be used very easily in the classroom for children, for young adults, for adults. For children, we have a lot of comics, curiously, a lot of comics from the northern countries, like Norway or Sweden, that can be used easily in the classroom to promote the debate, to thinking about climate change. There are also a lot of comics from young adults for thinking about this idea. And also we can find comics from for adult people that makes a good reflection about the climate change and the problematic of global warming. In example, Le Monde Sans Fin, Christophe Lane, uses the script of Jacobisi as one of the most important researchers in climate change. CLI-MIC is an initiative of ErasmusPlus project to use comics as an innovative educational tool. The idea is to use this comic to promote active agents of climate change in the classroom. It's a project we have coordinated from the University of Valencia with partners from Salzburg, University of Salzburg, the Cresol Association, Area Europa, the Grammar School from Nicosia, the Gaudi School from Finland, the High School Jaume I from Spain, and also the Atlas Language School from Malta. And the question is how to use comics in the classroom. Comics is a very excellent way to find a proximity to the children, to the youth audience, because they are a way to promote the creativity of the students, and it can be easily implemented in the new methodologies as the project master learning, because the visual information, the narrative synthesis ability of making a comic is very interesting to use in the scientific communication. Comics can be used as a stimulation way of individual critical thinking and curiosity to promote scientific vocation also. And this idea of study the science, technology, social environment in a global way, in a total system. We can use comics in different methodologies, and it's a very interesting question because we can use guided research, global research, directed learning, scientific research, deductive learning, role-playing. This idea of the gamification of the classroom can be made by comics. So this is an excellent way to make these questions. CLI-MIC has these objectives, and it's basically to use comics in the classroom to promote this idea of the students to be active agents and citizens that can make the difference in this idea, and to promote also the relations between the different educational sector and organizations with this idea of the STEAM education through comics. The timeline of the project begins in 2023, has been developing during this year, and will be finished in the second quarter of the 2025. The first part of the project was the pedagogical plan design and design of the training materials and the teachers training, because it's very interesting in this case, this idea of training teachers to use comics in the classroom. During the 2024, we have the methodology implementation and the mobility of students to do comics and using comics in the classroom. And now we are beginning this last part of the project with the dissemination and the design of toolkits for replication strategy. The pedagogical plan that we design in this case have to focus on this idea of which type of learning activities we can make in the classroom. We have made different focus on the form and scenarios, on perspective, on communication, to talk about the comic language, these are scenarios of climate change, how it can be translated to the comics, how we can use the comics to think about the climate change, the global warming, and how to communicate with comics, from fiction, from non-fiction, fictionalizing the reality, in the case that it can be different. We have different goals for the classroom. This learning outcomes with the use of comics, speaking through the comics, using the comics in different ways. The subject areas that we have to touch in this project will be the facts, evidently, of the climate change from the scientific evidence, from the IPCC reports, talking about global warming and global emergency, but from a personal view of the responsibility and a collective and global responsibility. And also from health, that is a very important thing. Question that usually is not talked about it. And the resources will be comics, of course, comics specifically created for the project, training videos and documents and guides for developing comics in the classroom. We have made different training materials and learning activities. We have a training school about it. The part of the teachers training has been made in the part of using comics in the classroom by the University of Valencia and University of Salzburg, and Europa and the Food Association is they are in the responsibility of making the training about climate change and global warming. The material resources have comics. Comics will have a list of comics that can be used in the classroom, but also training videos and different ways that we can you can find in our webpage. The methodology implementation was to use comics in real situation, in the real context, and the different partners of our action use the comics in different ways. The mobility that the students made to Malta, to the Atlas School in Malta, from Greece, Cyprus, and Spain and Finland, from Cyprus, Spain, and Finland, allow the developing of comics, of different comics from the students that they really enjoy with the developing of comics. And the comics that they made were really interesting. After the comics, we have to do in this part replication strategy and toolkits for using and to spread the use of these comics in different scenarios, in different ways. The dissemination of the results will be by our CLI-MIC website, the social networks, and that we are now fostering this idea of climate in different congress, festivals, and we are thinking about working in different aspects. You can find all the results of our project in the web of the website of the project, climic.eu. That you can, when we are uploading all the training videos, all the comics, you can also download from the webpage the first comic that has been made from the Gaudia School. It's a very interesting comic with incredible artists, young artists, making these comics. And it's a very good way for thinking about the possibilities of using comics in the classroom. The conclusion is that the climate project is an opportunity to assess the potential of comics in teaching, and particularly in raising awareness about climate change. And we think that with this project, it's true that we can expect that the students become true agents of change and adaptation in the face of the challenges posed by global warming that, as we know, are harder and harder every day. And this is a very fast and quick presentation of our project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alvaro. This was a very nutritious breakfast, as we say. Narratives eat data for breakfast, but as we have seen in this kind of cooperation, evidence are really robust in the sense that a consortium like this involves research, academy, but also companies that combine science and storytelling tools such as comics in order to give to schools innovative methodology to replicate these kind of strategies and be action oriented in order to try to embrace the complexity of climate change and try to activate students, but not only students, all the communities around the schools in the climate action. Something that reminds me of another project here. I would say more oriented to the science part, to the citizen engagement and participation into science activities of community mapping, which is the current stage of the project flood stopping. So I would leave the floor to Giulia Lombardo Piola to present to us flood stopping project.
Thank you, Gianluca, and hi everyone. It was really inspiring, Alvaro, your presentation about CLI-MIC, and I mean now we are in the framework of climate crisis. We will focus now on something that is more specific. One of the bad effects that climate crisis creates on our planet. So we will go on flood stopping project. I guess that you can see my screen. Okay. So thank you for being here. I'm Giulia Lombardo Piola. I am the project manager of Flood Stopping. I am a member of Europa, and this project is an ErasmusPlus project, of course, 2 years project. And now we are in the field of school education. So as CLI-MIC, our target are mainly all the community that is linked with the schools, but how we will see through the schools, we are able to reach also families and communities. So the idea is to be impactful with all the actors and stakeholders that we are able to tackle with this project. This is a cooperation partnership, and the aim of this project is to train the teachers. So it's a train-the-trainer project, with the idea of giving them innovative tools and that we will see later on. So storytelling, gamification, infographics, in order to equip them to transfer the knowledge about flood risk management. Flood risk is a pressing issue, as also Gianluca was said in the introduction. And unfortunately, even if in the last months and years is getting more common, it's true that there is really a lack of awareness of how we can react in face of this kind of incredible violent events that we don't know exactly, because we were not so used to face these kind of events. And so there is really the need to provide new tools to be able not only to mitigate this kind of risk, but also to adapt to it, because at a certain point we know that this is something that we cannot avoid, unfortunately. And so we have to be able to react consciously when something like this occurs, also to literally save our lives. And we saw that schools really don't have the perception of the risk of this kind of events. And we, for this reason, we created this project to tackle this lack and to try to make this cultural transition also in the minds of people that manage schools, institutes and buildings, also to create real adaptation plans and being able to know how to react when something like this occurs. So we are tackling the main priorities of environment and fight against climate change, of course. So we are in this framework, but at the same time, for sure, our priorities are linked with the school education priorities of supporting teachers and all the community, the education community, to develop new competencies, so really practical competencies. How we do that? With a great consortium built up of 8 different partners from 7 countries. And we really believe in the fact that cooperation is the key, as also we said during the introduction. And for this reason, we put together a lot of different actors. So not only the schools that are for sure our main targets, we have 2 schools from Cyprus and from Greece, but also SMEs, academy, and different approaches to the same topic, with the really conviction that we need not only different backgrounds, but different approaches to the same problem. Since climate crisis is a complex issue, floods are a complex issue, we need complex solutions. And so only thanks to this cooperation and complementarity of different actors, we can be able to create something that is really transversal and complete. And why we tackle this topic, we already said this, but floods for sure are one of the main events that this climate change is leading in Europe, but we can say unfortunately in all the parts of the world. So this is a problem not only for the frequency of this kind of events that is coming, that is increasing a lot, but this is leading also a really big economic damage that will somehow even worsen the situation in which we are right now. So there is really the need to create tools not only from an infrastructural point of view, that for sure it's truly important, but also to create like more culture about this in order to mitigate the eco-anxiety that is something real, that is something that unfortunately can be really dangerous, in the sense that we can feel we and the students and youngsters can feel overwhelmed of something so huge and big, and they can feel like powerless. So the aim of this project, and I guess that I can speak for all the other projects, is to try to mitigate also this anxiety, and rather than being stuck, take action and create, let's say, a virtuous dynamic for which you can feel powerful to make at least a little piece of the huge road that we need to walk towards the sustainability that is the final destination, let's say. Even if we know that sustainability is kind of utopia in general and is not possible to reach it completely, it's really important to understand what we can do, and what we can do not only to make our own part, but also to live a life that is more in harmony with ourselves, with the others, with the environment, with the society. So also through this little but really impactful project, we like to change the narrative and make our part in this really important, let's say, action that we have to do, because in order not to feel overwhelmed, we need to find new ways to engage people, to show that an alternative is possible, and to somehow all together come up with new ideas to face the challenge. And so in this project, even if we speak about floods in general, for sure we can say that we are focusing more in the adaptation part. So we try to boost awareness and knowledge about this. How we do this? The project is really easily structured. So we have three main work packages, in which first of all we created learning materials, innovating materials that now I will show you. Then we made another step. So once that we created the materials, we also created the way to gamify them and creating the digital version of them, also to boost the digital knowledge of teachers and students within the schools. And being aware that there is no sustainability possible without the involvement of community, the last work package is about involving not only the teachers, not only the students, but as I said before, the communities that are around the school. So the community education, the educative community in its complexity. but now I will be more practical and I will tell you what we actually did. At this moment, we are almost at the end of this project. So this was a 2 years project and it will finish in December. So I can say really proudly that we have already a lot of different tools that are available and open access, of course, on our website of Flood Stopping project. And then for sure will be available on the ErasmusPlus project result platform that we will upload them also there. And so we spoke about the innovative learning materials, but what are they? First of all, podcasts. So thanks to Spostamenti, that is an association from Italy, from Bologna, we created a series of podcasts. So if you go on Spotify, on YouTube, on a lot of different platforms, you will find them. And it's a series made up of 3 different podcasts. The first one is about how to communicate climate change in order not to create anxiety, but to boost the climate action. The second one is about best practice about floods. We really think that giving concrete example of people that already face this problem can be a powerful tool to empathize with the issue and empower people to know how to react when there are this kind of issue, and with the awareness that a lot of time success stories are not the ones that arrive in the big audience, because we are used to speak about what did not work rather than speaking about what did work, basically. So we created this second podcast in order to storytell about real stories that happen, in order to create like a model to follow in order to be reactive in this case. And the third and the last podcast is about concretely how to react. So there is a kind of guideline with all the things that you can do and you should not do in order to be safe when a flood occurs. And the nice thing is that the idea was to create only the podcast, but then we realized that collecting the material in order to create the podcast, Spostamenti Associazione came up with the idea of creating also a kind of a reading, a show that we brought in within the schools, where a guide from Forlì, that is one of the cities in Emilia-Romagna that was one of the victims of the floods that Gianluca was mentioning at the beginning of the presentation. There is this guy that storytell and read his story, and this creates really a kind of connection with a real story and the people that hear it. And this was really nice and impactful when we saw students from Bologna hear this story and somehow understand also with emotion what the situation led to and which is the right approach to have in these situations. So this is the storytelling part. Then we created a manual, so really concrete manual to provide teachers a way to create maps and infographics with the awareness that infographics can be really nice way to make the complex topics more easy and more direct. And so within this manual, was, let's say, the preliminary activity and the preparatory activity to empower teachers then to use the community app that then we will I will present you later on. And last but not the least, thanks to Low Carbon Economy, we created this animated learning content. So really nice videos that are somehow also light from a communication point of view, that are like the sisters of what we said also during the podcast. So how to react when a flood occurs, what you should do, what you should not do. So with different voices and different tools, we tackle the same issue in order to be sure that there are different ways for people to get acquaintance with this kind of tools and topics. Then we created also a game. So cooperation is something which we really believe, and we believe that knowledge is easier to reach when a lot of people use it, and with awareness of that having fun within schools and with youngsters is really something that is important in order to be sure that the learning activity becomes something really impactful and engaging. So we created a board game with a lot of augmented reality items inside. And so within the board game, we are able to bring in the class the topics about flood risk management. And last but not the least, we created a community app that is something that you can already download from your computer or from your phone. And thanks to this community app, students, but everyone is able to create a community mapping activity. So the idea is that people are empowered to go on the app, look at the map, and be able to map all the items that are important to be aware for, understanding if a place is dangerous when a flood occurs, and where to go when a flood event happens. So I invite you all to download the app and understand how it works and be part of the community. Last but not the least, with all these tools, we are making our final step of the project, that is the community building. So the students right now are working in order to create 10 different adaptation plans. And they will finally meet all together in Brussels in order to present the adaptation plans and exchange best practice, with the idea also to be advocates and to create really an activity that could be a real advocacy also for local administrators with concrete guidelines to also be an example for other schools on how to get ready and prepared for this kind of events. So I will stop here because I think that I already took a lot of time, and sorry for this, I speak a lot, but I really invite you to go on our website and download all the tools that are open access and be part of this journey that unfortunately is really important and that involves all of us. And so, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Julia. Very, very inspiring, and thank you for the level of detail that you got into, because we were talking about empowerment, and I think that a mix and a combination of so different tools from storytelling to science, as always, is the key to provide an innovative methodology that can really engage. And we're talking about engagement because if we're talking about climate change adaptation within the flood stopping project, we are going back to mitigation once we start talking about the Food Odyssey. As we all may know, food systems are responsible for 1/3 of global emission of greenhouse gases. And so getting back to the fact that we can be part of the solution, and with a multi-stakeholder consortium can provide sort of a different way and a different gaze and a different perspective of how that sector, the agri-food system, can be less impactful if we organize together a more sustainable model, is something we should face, and at the same time we should face it if we engage on a real level the people we want to educate, and we want to be part of the challenge. So we were talking about gamification in flood stopping, and we're talking about gamification also in Food Odyssey. So I would let Kerstin Sirk from ISO tell us a bit more about the Food Odyssey project and its mission. Thank you, Kerstin.
Thank you, Gianluca. So I hope you can hear me because I'm on the train. I'm sorry for that. So I will share my screen. Okay. Can you see this? Okay, can you see the presentation? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's start. Hello, everyone. So I'm thankful for you to joining us today. I'm excited to share with you our innovative project named Food Odyssey, which is co-funded by the European Union through the ErasmusPlus program. So I'm a part of Institute for Health and at ESO. I'm a project manager, and with our director, I'm as well collaborating on this project. So this project represents a significant step forward sustainability, food systems, and their intersection with climate change. So let's dive into the details about what this project is all about. So, wait, before I go on, this is like a consortium of 4 technical partners. So us, ESO, Europa, that is here with us today, Escape for Change, Global Footprint Network, and of course 4 vet schools from Italy, Slovenia, Valencia, Spain, and Serbia. So the idea of the Food Odyssey didn't just like appear overnight. It was born out of a, how to say, broader vision to connect climate change with food systems and enhance how we communicate these complex relationships. In our storytelling and linking of projects, we can highlight the valuable insights gained from the CLI-MIC project, which used a comic to creatively illustrate the connections between climate change and agri-food systems. So this comic emphasizes the risk that climate change poses to these systems, while also showcasing how scientific knowledge can help us better understand these challenges and find ways to adopt it. Moreover, it demonstrates the power of art as a tool to communicate complex issues in an engaging and accessible way. So this serves as a perfect example of how the Food Odyssey and other related projects are interconnected.
You know what, you guys, please, because I'm working.
Sorry.
You're not the only one.
Sorry, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so more quieter. So I hope you're still gonna hear me. So yeah, all of the project aim to bridge science, education, and creativity to foster a deeper understanding of sustainability and encourage more effective communication of critical global issues. So the core aim of the Food Odyssey is actually to innovate European vet schools by equipping educators with advanced didactic tools. So the goal is to empower teachers to use sustainability effectively, food systems, and to highlight their connections to environmental and climate change issues. So this way, we hope to inspire a generation of professionals who not only have the necessary skills, but also a deep awareness of the vital role they play in fostering sustainable practices. So the objectives of our project, to achieve this aim, the Food Odyssey has several key objectives. So to enhance the green skills of vet teachers and students with a focus on the relationship between climate change and food systems. So this includes the climate crisis and innovative teaching methods. Like we are developing innovative teaching methods through digital tools like gamification and edutainment. So these methods will actively involve students, making learning more interactive and engaging. So our key activities are, first of all, to boost teacher knowledge. So that teachers undergo through training on climate change and sustainable food systems, supported by our educational tool set. There is an important key activity to intersectoral collaboration. So we'll bring together vet teachers, food and climate experts to co-create an online escape room. We are actually doing this tomorrow. So I'm on the train because I'm on the way to to be participant of the co-creation. And of course, the innovative pedagogy. So through the use of digital teaching schools, we aim to make learning more engaging for students and encouraging their active participation. So our results, we already seeing promising results from our project, like an educational tool set that has been developed, and it has like 4 modules to provide vet teachers with foundational knowledge on the ecological transition, teacher training. So we aimed to teach 16 plus vet teachers from 4 countries trained in participative processes and escape room setup. The co-creation of the fora, so teachers and food systems experts will collaborate together to make the digital escape room that we are doing tomorrow. And later on to bring together students, participants from all of the 4 countries, peer review sessions to review meetings at vet schools to refine the escape room. The dissemination events will have like 4 local and 4 national multiplier events to spread project results, and our final conference. So what is the impact? So the Food Odyssey has already had a significant impact, and we expect to grow further as the project continues. Because our project started on the 1st of September 2023 and will last till the end of August 2025. So through the train the trainers model, we have empowered educators with multidisciplinary knowledge and skills with the innovative teaching methods. So this modern non-formal teaching approaches such as gamification and edutainment that will be introduced will equip teachers and of course students by engaging them while promoting the development of critical soft skills like problem solving, communication, and conflict resolution. So co-creation of resources, the collaboration between educators and food systems experts will lead to the development of the Food Odyssey escape room. The widespread adoption, so the project is anticipated to reach across European vet schools, increasing food literacy and ecological awareness in both formal and non-formal educational settings. So behavioral change by encouraging environmentally friendly behaviors among students and teachers. The project is set to contribute to a more sustainable food system and sustainable education, because our project, the materials that will be provided will leave a lasting legacy through its open access materials and resources, which will continue to be used after the project ends. So the Food Odyssey is an exciting project that equips teachers and students with knowledge about sustainability and the interconnection about food systems and climate change, but also engages teachers and students in innovative and interactive ways to learn about it. So through the co-creation of resources like the escape room and partnership across Europe, we are confident that this project will leave a lasting legacy in the field of vet education. So I thank you everyone for listening to the presentation. I'm sorry for the intermezzo situation and
Very sorry.
And at the bottom, of course, is a QR code that you can scan, and you're going to be directed on the webpage of the Food Odyssey. So thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. And first of all, thank you for your effort in presenting a project from such a unstable environment, and compliments for maintaining the calm. And yeah, absolutely in line with what we were saying and the project we were presenting before. I think that we all think that gamification is precisely one of the potential key to boost the engagement, because without engagement, we know that climate action is impossible. But at the same time, gamification is a key to learn while having fun. And I think that regarding pedagogy, having fun is one element to really involve students and make them feel comfortable and let them get that information and new knowledge in a way that stays. And so, talking about fun and having fun, I think that the Climartivism originated from the Climart project series. In this case, could be a good example of placing fun as a crucial element of getting knowledge and education from theater to comics till animation. So I would love to leave the floor to Eva Merloni that will present this methodology in these 3 versions/editions of ErasmusPlus projects. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you, Gianluca, and hi, everybody. I'm gonna talk about I think more the methodology instead of the contents, because a lot of things have been already said. So let me go through quite quickly through the presentation. So as you well know, first of all, because the presentation that were explained or shown before already mentioned the importance and the relevance of this the issue of climate change. So you can see just a graph showing the detail and the evidence about in particular the temperature that is previous decades. So that's a very big issue, but still there are some barriers of some people, because we think that everybody knows and accept and understand this issue, the climate change topic, but it's not like that. There are still a lot of people that do not know exactly this issue, but they also do not accept it or recognize it, right? So the idea, as we already mentioned, is to push this knowledge to always a broader audience, right? So how can we do that? Through art, because art is something that we can feel closer to us. In particular, visual art, such as theater, comics, animation can really overcome this barrier, giving us a more like a closer sensation or feelings to this big and scary topic. So what we have done, we've done this Climart path. And I would like to share with you the idea of capitalization of the project results. So we started in 2019 with the first project, which was Climart, so the Climate First Edition, that aim at developing innovative methodologies for learning climate change through art and theater and high schools. So within this project, we developed the first material about climate change and guidelines for teachers to understand better this topic and to share the topic with their students. Then we developed a document of art-based learning methodology. So why art can be really important to transfer scientific knowledge. And then we work with the artistic method that we choose in this project, which was theater, because theater is a really effective tool to feel the topic, because you represent your feeling, you represent the issue, and you live it, right? So the students, each student of each school perform a theatrical play, and we and did the project all together in Brussels in a very nice theater, and all the students performed their performances, right? So this was really impactful and powerful because, I mean, students had also the chance to share their view of the topics and share ideas and get to know each other. So it was really, really powerful. So after this successful project, we decided to replicate somehow, not replicate in terms of redo the same, but to capitalize the products and the outputs of the first project and try to reinforce them and to make a step forward. So in 2020,
Eva, I'm sorry.
And won the Climart 2.0 project, aimed at developing. Yeah. You cannot hear me, right?
Yeah, we have had some troubles with your connection, I think. Yeah, it was a little bit unstable.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you right now
No.
well and clearly, but we have had some troubles with your connection in the last 30 seconds.
Can you hear me? Yep.
Now we can hear you.
I think we're probably hearing her.
And you
with
know
some delay.
also why. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Or shall I switch connection? No.
We can hear you now, but I think we have some delay.
Yeah, with a lot of delay. No. I'm gonna switch my internet connection. Sorry for this.
Okay. In the meantime, an open invitation to all of you. We have been disseminating the results in social media, in the CLI-MIC Instagram account, in the Food Odyssey Instagram account, in Flood Stopping Instagram account. This video will be uploaded later on to YouTube for those who have not been able to watch it all, or for those who might want to watch it later on and could not join today. So we do hope that you can help us to spread the word and to spread the results to reach the most people that we can and the most organizations that we can. And with this small intermezzo, as Kirsten said, and powered through her own in the train, Eva, have you restored your connection? Yep.
I hope so. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can see you. Good.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, sorry for that. Where are you in my presentation? Have you heard something about Climart 2?
Just a little bit. I think you could, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So after Climart 1, we decided to make a step forward with using another artistic method, which is comics. And from this project, also CLI-MIC was created. So the idea is to move forward step by step. So within this project, we developed podcasts from which also the podcast of Flood Stopping have been developed, always with no not a replication, but always with the idea to starting from the previous result to go further in detail or to touch other relevant topics. So within this project, we also develop a methodology for storytelling techniques. So how to create a comic and how to tell a story, and a guide for cartoon-based methodology. So within this handbook, we understood how to create a meta comic, right? So then the last part of the project was aimed at developing real comics. So each school developed its own comics, right? So this, as I said, was the basis for CLI-MIC on one end. So developing even more the topic of comic, but also for flat stopping related to podcast and then also animated learning material. So continuing with this art approach for transferring scientific knowledge. So after that, since this project also has been really successful, we decided to capitalize once again the results and going through another step, which is Climart 3, which has been approved this year. So here you can see all the results of the previous project. So you can also see the evolution in terms of graphics and representation of the results. So like seeing from the history to the future. So what we are going to do in this project, we are going to transfer and to starting from the comics and we are going to go to the animation. So how to animate the comics, right? So this project involved 10 partners, mainly schools. They are all schools except Europa, which is the coordinator, because Europa is the background and the experience from the previous project. It involves 4 European countries, so Italy, Spain, Greece, and Cyprus. And the half of the schools involved are coming from the previous editions. And the other 4 schools are new, because we want to use the methodology of peer-to-peer learning. So the like trained schools will teach the new ones. Okay, so the idea is to have this exchange at the same level, no teachers and teachers, students and students. So yeah, we are gonna develop guidelines for how to create storyboard for animation. So you can see here the next steps of the storyboard. So it's not the storyboard for comics because we have already this material. So all the school will study the existing material, and then they are gonna have more insights for animation. And then the teachers will teach the students everything. So starting from what is climate change, how to know it better through podcasts, which are being developed in the Climart 2, and how to create a story, how to create a comic, and then in this project, how to create an animation. So yeah, this is the path, no? So how to capitalize European project results, because we need to avoid replication, and how to apply the peer-to-peer learning methodology, which is also a powerful tool for everybody, but in particular at schools, because teachers understand or lives the same, face the same issues and difficulties at school. So there's also, I think it's a very powerful tool. So let's stay tuned on the Climart 3 results. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Can't wait to see the first results and activities of Climart 3. We're really, really thrilled in Europa. This is one of the last entering projects, and yeah, I'm really glad to be in this movement, and I really see the power of capitalizing on methodology of Climart and expanding our platform of a lot of hundreds of students that have been involved as Climartivists. No, the power of mixing art with activism in order to raise awareness out there, and the power of bringing from school to their homes and to their communities this knowledge in order to build up communities that are more and more responsible and feel empowered with a strength and agency too, on a, let's say, political level, to make the informed decisions and combat and tackle this climate change issue. So thank you. It's 1:16. I would leave the floor to potential questions. So I would give the start to the Q&A sessions. We got 15 minutes, but we can go beyond if there's necessity and curiosity. And please, if anyone would like to pose a question to our presenters, it's the moment to do that. Or maybe we can create a roundtable of professionals dealing with this and create synergy and maybe co-create a concept for the next project here inside this call.
I have a question, by the way, on this topic. So we have like climate change, comic, animation, learning material, animating learning material, and now we are on the topic of animation. So how to create videos, and how to teach these students like some methodology that they can also use in their professional life, right? So it's not just knowing something more about what is going on in our climate environment, but is also giving them tools that they can use for their jobs, or that can be passionate about art and decided to be artists, and to be video makers or whatever. So I think that we should also consider to go even more in that direction, thinking about professional path and skills that can be used in the market, right? So as a job. So maybe we can share some idea on this if you like, thinking about what can happen after the animation, if there is something like a step forward that we can have already in mind, because it's never too early to think about another project, right? And and how to what kind of skills the student would need to have another other possibility of untraditional job.
I think that's a very good question, because it's true that we think about animation or comics, about everything, and we think this is not useful for the real life. But I think that, as you say, we're changing all of this, and the communication is changing totally in our real life. So I think that this knowledge about animation, about comics, about using these visual skills to communicate could be an important way of change our way of communicating. And the use of it in social networks and this new way of communication, these skills are fundamental. So I'm thinking that this is not only about climate change, it's not only about global warming or our environment, as you say, it's also about how do you think the future of the communication will be.
On that note, and connecting a bit what Alvaro just said and what Eva mentioned, I do think that future projects will need to tackle artificial intelligence for generating images, communication, and things like that. And also, in a sense, we will need not only to bring arts to be able to create better narratives and be persuasive with the evidence we have for the actions we need, but also to bring philosophy to the discussion, so that we have ethics discussions about the use of AI and how that may be disrespectful for authorship and for the people who created the initial images that are feeding the machines that are behind all this. With Alvaro, we did mention this a while back in one of the conversations we had, that we support that tweet. I think it was a tweet that came out saying we want artificial intelligence to wash our dishes and do our laundry, not to do our arts. So the idea of how to learn tech skills that are for our future, for employment, for our jobs, for the activities we actually want to do and want to be creative is a very good discussion. But I do think that ethics, authorship, and how to identify what is misinformation, what is not, what it was created by someone or not, will be like a key topic as well for us to tackle, to explore together and learn together, because it's very disruptive and new. So, well, not authorship and ethics, but the role of new technology in this is quite new. So we'll need to learn as we go all together. So lifelong learning for us as well, not only for the students who are thinking about their jobs, but our future jobs as well, and how we need to like keep on learning to keep updated, right?
I saw that there was a question a question or a comment from Deborah, and so I will shut up for a minute and give her the floor because I was already starting speaking. So
thank you, Juliana. No worries. Thank you so much, Juliana. I think actually your comment was really interesting, and in the case of, well, what does it mean to be creative? And with the introduction of the artificial intelligence, and the current situation, like with all the media, and I think we kind of tend to lose the ability to be creative, or in our jobs and in our daily lives. So thinking about ethics and artificial intelligence, I was thinking also that what I really admired in the project you presented today was also like how you brought creativity back to students and to people, and how this make them actor for change. Like you became empowered by that, and you put yourself into your creation. That I think it's really powerful. In terms more generally about future projects and future themes to explore, before I was thinking that would be as interesting to add some orientation in this kind of project. So make a connection for the students to the real world, and try to show them which are the opportunities it's important to teach about climate change, but also like make the connection with the real world and show them which are the opportunities, the professions that are there, and also highlight the fact that sustainability is like a transition, it's like a path, it's an evolution. So it's a story that needs to be told, and so we need to be creative. We need to invent some professionals that are not there, and we need to be innovative. And so, yeah, trying to make this connection as well into the project, try to add this into the project, or a connection with the real world, and with the professionals that are present in the real world, but also to the profession that are not yet present in the real world.
I totally agree with what Deborah is saying, and I see from where it's coming, this kind of thought. But I think that really this creativity, the students and teachers, and we are trying to boost in schools. I think that should be also used to create these new jobs, and to show that the same creativity that they use to tackle the issue of climate change, they should take it and take the methodology and apply it to job market, because there are a lot of things that still are not here, and a lot of times there are these kind of the being shy and the being worried about who is going to hire me for making this kind of job. So I think that this kind of entrepreneurial mind should be also used. So I totally agree with what Deborah is saying. And I really think that European projects are the perfect platform to boost this kind of knowledge and capacity to create something from scratch, even if, as Eva was saying before, is not really from scratch, because you should be aware of what is going around and to always make the efforts of being innovative. And at the same time, the important things of collaborating and creating new opportunities and alliances in order to also fund and finding new ways of surviving also from an economical point of view. So I think that, I mean, Europe is at least trying to provide us tools and new streets, new roads to be creative and innovative. So I'm confident that even if all the world is going apart in the sense of from a climate point of view, there is still a space of opportunity that I'm happy to see and to be part of. And I think that, yeah, we still need to make a lot of things, but there is always a huge room for new things going on. So also thanks to all of you, because it was really inspiring, even if I knew a lot of the projects that were here, but I'm impressed, and it was a really nice hour together.
Julia, I thought you were going to mention the utopia and the sustainability as a pathway, because Deborah did bring this up. And for those who might not be familiar with this quote, there is a quote from, I think it's a movie director, so it connects with Climart 3 and the idea of making panels for storyboards for animations. But that goes something like, what is utopia for? Well, utopia is the horizon. We take 2 steps forward and it moves 2 steps further away. We take 10 steps forward and it moves 10 steps further away. So why is it for? What is it for? It is for helping us to keep moving and keep advancing. And I think that a lot of it was coded later on by Eduardo Galeano. It is this idea that sustainability transitions, we need to keep going forward. And often connecting to a message that I think was present in all the projects presented here today. We need to transform this climate anxiety into positive action. And in order to do so, we do need to be aware of the risks and the things, but to have like a positive outlook, something that makes us be a little bit utopian in the end of the day, right? And to be positive about the things that we can see. So science fiction also have a role here, because often we see more dystopias and bad future scenarios and things that motivate us to actually move forward and to get like positive outcomes. So I think that that's a good point as well, for us to do like things that inspire us, that not only showcase the bad sides of global warming and the climate emergence, so on and so forth. Eva, you're laughing about this as well. Say.
No. I agree. I'm just thinking that as a next step, let's do it a movie with artificial intelligence. Woo!
We can try to do that.
Yeah. I think that's precisely the point, not to inform and nurture a new imaginary on the future that shouldn't be scary, because if it's scary, we are just stood there with some anxiety, and I am used to feel alone, even though I'm working and living inside a cooperative, which is a platform and a laboratory for the future, as I like to see it, with friends, colleagues, and people that has the same image of the world that I have. But I'm used to think that we are little, but at the same time, I think that we can get bigger by contributing to these kinds of consortia. And I think that the topic of the imaginary, the approaching to a new imaginary should scale up towards that kind of media that have the larger impact, such as movies. And that's why I was laughing, because Eva, it's such a nice person and always makes me laugh. But at the same time, we have had maybe the same idea for the future on this. And I think that this kind of symbiosis and synergies are really, really precious here inside Europa and inside consortia like this. So thank you all for being here. I think even though we're fewer person here, but we did a lot this morning by presenting projects that we already know, but exploring new perspectives together just by staying here together and thinking about our future possibilities. So thank you all here for this. This sounded like a closure, but if anyone here
But
wants
we are
to
on
say
time in any case, yes.
yeah, if anyone here wants to say something more, I'm more than happy to stay.
Thank you very much to all.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank
I
you.
think we have many more things to say, but I think we can close up this session and like taking into account that it's World Food Day, like digest all the information and the inspiration that we have today and see how we move forward. And yeah, thank you all for being here, and we'll see what the next steps look like. Gianluca, thank you for hosting us. And Alvaro, thank you as CLI-MIC coordinator for pushing this forward and for allowing us to have this space to disseminate not only CLI-MIC, but the other projects as well. Yeah.
And thank you, Juliana, for coordinating this. So,
Yes.
bravi tutti. Bravo.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao. Have a nice day.
Ciao. Grazie, ciao.